So, all right, everybody, welcome to another edition of the Urban Gardener's Top 10. And a little bit of different video for us today for our top 10. We've got John Kohler with us here
Hey, what's
today.
up?
And John's gonna give us his top 10 things he's got growing in his garden right now.
Cool, let's do it. All right, my first favorite plant is this guy right here. This is known as the tree collards. The reason why I like the tree collards is that in my climate, this thing grows year round. Like collard greens are so nutritious. They're a brassica family plant. They're anti-cancer. This plant, instead of going to flower and setting seed and then being finished, this plant, you can see it's already towering over me. It's 6 feet tall, and all year it'll make the leaves for me to eat, which are anti-cancer. Even in the 100-degree summer sun, this thing will thrive. Just make sure you give it enough water. If you live in a more mild climate, you shouldn't have any issues growing tree collards year round. I think it can maybe do zone 8 and above. Otherwise, you may have to bring it inside because it doesn't like, too cold a weather in the winter. So my next favorite plant for the summertime is my dark purple opal basil. I mean, number one, any basil will grow really well here in Las Vegas, but I really like the purple basil because the purple basil is more nutritious than the standard green basil because it has the anthocyanins. Also, think about it. People that are more dark-skinned have better sun protection. They don't burn as easy as somebody that's more pale white. Likewise, these plants do not burn as easily because they are purple compared to the green plants that may burn a little bit more. That being said, you give them enough water and the basils won't burn at all. Now, for special extra credit, or maybe we'll just move on to the next plant I like. It's this guy. This is related to basil. Most people don't know what it is. This is just coming up by seed. This is called the Shiso, and the Shiso is known as the Asian herb related to basil and mint. And if we look at the bottom, the bottom of the leaves on this version is purple. This is known as the Breton Shiso. They also have green Shiso as well as a whole purple variety Shiso, but this one easily reseeds in my garden. The flavor is kind of between it tastes like maybe cross between oregano and basil or something like that. But yeah, I'd say that's another one of my favorite plants because it just reseeds and comes back every year on its own. All right, fourth favorite plant is a new plant for me this year. This is actually known as the black goji berries. I mean, maybe there's some fruits that's starting to little form. There's like little flowers and fruits starting to form. There's no fruits on these guys yet, but these are extremely rare black goji berries. I did an Instagram post on them today. They have at least 5 times more antioxidant power than the standard, red goji berries or wolf berries that you are familiar with. And they also have basically 2 times more polyphenol content and all about growing the healthiest food possible. These guys also really thrive in the desert with very little care and generally aren't affected by pests. Fifth favorite plant that I have growing in the summertime are these guys. These guys are called Malabar spinach. You can't start them from seeds, but easier than seeds, I like to do cuttings. So I go to the Asian market and buy these Malabar spinach leaves. They come in a big bunch to eat. I cut off the bottoms. I stick them in my cloning machine, which basically is water with a bubbler, a little bit of rooting hormone on there, and then they grow roots, and then I plant them out. These guys literally were just planted in the garden from being inside yesterday, and you guys can see this guy has a little bit of transplant shock, but this guy has none. This guy's going to basically fill up this trellis with edible leafy greens to eat all summer long. Now, they are a little bit mucilaginous, but I don't mind that. I like to eat them raw. They're super delicious and very easy to grow. All right, number 6 plant I love in my garden in the summertime is the eggplant. You can see a little baby eggplant right here. That's a Japanese style eggplant. Nice and small and dainty, almost ready to get harvested actually. I love growing eggplant because number one, it's probably one of the easiest plants to grow in a desert garden. It really thrives and loves the heat. In addition, they are purple, so they have those purple anthocyanins that I love so much. You want to check out my channel, Growing Your Greens, and check out the video why every gardener should grow purple vegetables and learn why they are so beneficial. All right, my 7th favorite plant to grow is this guy right here. And this literally grows like a tree. And if you're in Hawaii or the South Pacific, you would know what this is. This is known as belay. Grows as a tree, basically has a leaf that you could eat. It's related to hibiscus. It's called Ahubiscus manuhat. And this is actually, I think, the variety Kiko's crump variety. of that. And I love this plant because it just grows really easily. It's very important you get them established before the heat gets turned up. Like it's been 100 degrees today. Luckily I got these weeks ago and they're already established to the heat. These guys don't like the freeze, but if you live somewhere like Hawaii, you could grow these easily year round. They'll grow into a tree and you could basically just harvest and eat the leaves. It's known as a salad tree, actually. All right, 8th plant that I love growing in the summertime here in the desert are these guys right here. This is known as actually water spinach. So this is another plant, actually. I just go to the Asian market. I buy water spinach. I buy them as a vegetable to eat. I cut off the bottoms. I put it in my cloning machine. You could just literally put them in water with a little bit of rooting hormone, and you don't even need the rooting hormone. They'll grow roots, and then I literally just plant them in the ground, and then they start growing into the whole plants, and I could harvest the leaves to eat. They are completely amazing. They're probably like my lettuce substitute for the summer garden because it's just too hot to grow lettuce here. These guys love the heat, so if you live in some hot climate location, you can grow them. That being said, you want to be aware that this is a noxious weed and illegal to grow in some states. So you want to check it out. Here in my state, we have free reign to grow as much as we want because this will never get into a waterway and take over. My 9th favorite plant to grow in the summertime, actually this one will grow year round, is very rare. There's no English name for it, so there's only the Latin name. It's called Ricardia picroides, and it's right here. You're like thinking, John, that looks just like dandelions. I got that weed growing in my garden. Well, trust me, seriously, you guys don't have this plant growing in your garden unless you live in Malta. If you live in Malta, this is actually a wild food in Malta. It's related in the lettuce family of plants, related to the dandelion, but it's totally different. You know, dandelions, you could pick them and they're bitter. You could actually pick a leaf, and I'll do that today for you. This is the first leaf I'm picking all summer because I usually let these guys grow. Here's a leaf. Looks like a dandelion leaf, right? But these guys don't taste bitter at all. You eat them and they kind of taste like lettuce. Well, actually there's a little hint of bitter, but it's barely anything. Last year I grew these guys, there's no bitterness. But these guys grow like a weed, are amazing and delicious to eat. I would say low bitterness. All right, so as the sun's going down, we got the 10th and final favorite vegetable for growing in the summer for me. And these are purple sweet potatoes. They're purple on the inside. These are actually known as the Stokes sweet potato, and you guys can see here they are right here. I bought sweet potatoes organic from natural grocers. I literally stuck them in coconut coir in a self-watering sprouting container. This is just filled with potting soil mix. I keep this moist. There's a little reservoir underneath here to fill up. And you could see that it's growing all these slips. Once these slips get a little bit bigger, I'm gonna pop them out. I could put them just literally in a cup of water. I'm gonna actually put it in my cloning machine that basically bubbles water so they grow a bit faster. They'll grow roots, and then they get transplanted in my garden. That's actually what happened to these guys right here, literally just a few weeks ago. And look at these guys already. These were slips like a little bit bigger than this, and now they're already like pushing 2 feet long. And once again, these guys love the heat. The hotter it gets, the faster they grow, right? They don't like it too cold. Might not be the best, plant to grow in cold climates, but for the desert heat, they're amazing. They will have the purple, rich sweet potatoes that don't have a lot of sweetness to them compared to a standard sweet potato that you might eat. But they have, once again, have high levels of those anthocyanin content in the sweet potatoes. But more importantly, I want to let you guys know that you guys can harvest and pick the leafy greens. It is traditionally cooked, but you can eat these raw based on my research, but you want to do your own research. I mean, I prefer to eat the water spinach. There's a little bit of a bite on these guys, not the best flavoring. I like to eat them raw. They normally are cooked. But they're edible. Maybe I'd call them a famine food if you don't have anything else to eat or you really just want to eat out of your garden. You could harvest some sweet potato leaves, a dual purpose plant. You get the roots and the leaves.
So, all right, there we go. We got the top 10 things growing in John Kohler's garden. Thanks again, John, for joining us here on the Urban Gardener. It's great to have you here with us. And again, go check out John's channel at growingyourgreens.com. And we'll see all of you on our next episode.